Lloyd Roll, aka Mega Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my entire Indianapolis weekend. I'm super excited to talk about this weekend because it was the first regional I've ever actually attended as a competitor. I had attended the Pittsburgh Regionals in the beginning of the season, kind of as a spectator and stuff, but didn't really get to compete. So, to start us off here, I just want to talk about the matchups that I had played and kind of just like a tournament recap in my tournament run. I ended up playing Lugia VSTAR, but we'll look at the deck list and stuff a little bit later on and kind of break that down. But starting off, I played against Future Hands. Nothing really too crazy happened against that matchup. Eric was a super cool opponent. Actually, all of my opponents for the whole weekend were super cool and very friendly. It was a lot of them was also their first regional as well, which I thought was really cool. But hit Future Hands round one, and I kind of just get cooked. Like, game one, I have an okay start. Game two, I have a great start, but he hits the generators just every time. And is able to, like, arm press and amp all my stuff, and I'm like, yep, okay. So, finished up that game, and wish him luck, and just kind of chalked up hitting Future Hands round one. Hitting Future Hands round one when playing Lugia feels just kind of bad. Round two, I play against Ancient Box. Game one, I end up taking the L there. And it went like a pretty long game one because I actually had a genuine fighting chance. But he was able to just like Earthen Vessel, pitch an Earthen Vessel, get an energy, attach the energy, play Sawda's Vitality, put that on there, Super Rod, like Roaring Moon and Koraidon, or sorry, Roaring Moon, 2 energies back in, and then like concealed cards, draw 2s, and then Ultra Ball pitches 2 cards and gets a 280 and KOs my Lugia for the last 2 prize cards. And I'm like, yeah, it feels kind of bad. So gets to like 280 or 290 or whatever it was I needed to get to and KOs that. Game 2, I ended up having a pretty great lead early on. I ended up taking like 2 or 3 KOs with Snorlax with a thumping Snore attack. So I take like 2 or 3 knockouts with that. And since game 1 went pretty long, game 2 went about long-ish. It was about 15 minutes. Game 3, we got like 7 minutes to finish. And I'm like, I don't even think about offering a gentleman's agreement at this point, nor does my opponent, because it's round 2. And I can afford to take a tie this early on in the run. It's not too big of a deal. So I remember starting the game and I go, okay, if I could just like donk something really quick and just like finish up this game, that'd be great. So he starts Roaring Moon Greninja and he's going first and then draws concealed cards and says pass. And I go, okay, do a bunch of stuff, like play Jacq, have Ultra Ball in my hand, get 2 chops, Ultra Ball, pitch 2 chops, find like Lugia VSTAR, put it in my hand, attach, read the wind, pass. And he draws concealed cards and attaches for turn and then goes pass. And I go, okay. And I go draw for turn, evolve, summoning star, put these on there, have a Cinccino evolve into have a Minccino evolves into Cinccino, Primal Turbo, put some energies on there, put the energies on the Lugia, punch the Roaring Moon, he promotes Greninja, draws for turn, goes concealed cards, and then goes Nest Ball, hit 2 moons, Sawda's Vitality, attach 2 energies, draw 3 cards, hit a Nest Ball, hit Ultra Ball, and I'm just like, yep. And at this point, like, time in the round is called, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to take 5 prize cards in the next, like, 3 turns, or whatever it would be. He's not going to be able to take all 6 prize cards either, so we just kind of chalk it up to a tie and move on. Round 3, I play against Lost Tina. Game 1, I don't have a great start. I have a pretty okay start. I get like 2 chops in the discard pile and stuff, but I don't have anything to follow up with. Like, I have like 1 Cinccino on the bench. I got like a Lugia that I'm punching in with a little bit. But he was able to just like Temple of Sinnoh and Requiem my Lugia, and then I put up Cinccino, and I was like, okay, take a KO, and then he puts up like Cram, punches Cram with it, and I'm like, yup, bench of Snorlax, try for something. And he's just like, all right, put energies onto my Giratina, shred it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, you got it. So I just scoop it up, go to game 2. Game 2, I have a pretty good lead starting off. We both have pretty good starts, but I had a lot of like early game hand disruption, so I kept putting, because a lot of the times I try really hard to just like hand disrupt Lost Box players, especially like Lost Tina, because I don't want them to find Temple of Sinnoh as fast as I can. So I'm like playing Ionos and stuff like that, and I'm like bossing up things and just trying to like take quick KOs and efficient KOs. So I take like 2 KOs with a Snorlax on like a Comfey and a Cramorant, and then I'm like still playing Iono, and then he gets a Giratina VSTAR evolved. I have a Cinccino. I put it up, boss it up, take the KO. He, you know, gets like Sableye, puts like Lost Mine, a bunch of stuff. Lost Mine's my Cinccino, puts damage on the chops, and then I go, yup, and I draw for turn, put the Snorlax back up, boss up his Ninja, take the KO on the Ninja, and then he uses Sableye to take a KO on, I believe, a Minccino, put some more on the chops, and then I go, yup, KO that, and I'm like, all right, we're moving to game 3. And then game 3, or sorry, at that point he also tried to start Requiem my Snorlax, and then I had to remind him of Unfazed Fat, I believe, also in game 2, I think. It might have been game 1. One of those 2 games, he tried to, like, start Requiem my Snorlax, and I'm like, no, Unfazed Fat, and just kind of is what it was. And then game 3, he offered a gentleman's agreement, and I go, yep, I accept. And then I just have an absolute gas start, and he has like a kind of okay start. Gets set up, gets like 3 Comfeys, a Cram, and a Giratina on the bench, and I just like put a bunch of energies on a Lugia V-Star for 220, boss up Giratina, Tempest Dive, and he just kind of scoops it up because he can't come back from there at that point. So I take the win there. Round 4, I play against Matthew Wright, who's also playing Lost Tina. Game 1, I had a pretty clunky-ish start. He was able to just like find Temple of Sinnoh off of his like he had 5 in the Lost Zone, 5 in the Lost Zone, and I'm like, okay, you have like 3 cards in hand. I was gonna Iono, and I was like, no, I don't want to give him a bigger hand. So he draws for turn, plays Chorus, digs in, hits, evolves Giratina V into V-Star, finds Temple of Sinnoh, Mirage Gates a bunch of energies to it, play Temple of Sinnoh, impacts my Lugia V-Star. At this point, I don't have any Mincinos and Cincinos on the bench because I didn't find any. So I put up my other Lugia V-Star, put a bunch of energies onto it, punch in, discard Temple of Sinnoh, put a Mist Energy onto it, and then he plays 2 Temple of Sinnohs and finds the second one and plays it. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. 2 Temple of Sinnohs is going to be pretty tough. So I just scoop up after that point. I realize he plays 2. So now going into game 2, I'm like, okay, I need to probably just focus on like attacking with Cincinos more than I do Lugias. So that's what I try to do. I get like 2 Mincinos on the bench, evolve both of them. I'm attacking. I'm doing efficient. He punches in with Cram for 1. I put up the other one, and I put up the Snorlax, punch the Cramorant with Snorlax. At the same time, I Ionoed him as well. So I Ionoed him to 4, or I Ionoed him to like 4 or 5, I think, and then punch in with Snorlax. And then he goes, yup, and then puts up Sableye and goes, Lost Mine, put 11 on Cinccino, and I don't have a Mist Energy onto it because I prized 2 Mist Energies, and I only had 1, and it was on a different, it was on the other Minccino, I believe, and I go, yup, that feels kind of bad. So does that, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm already like super hungry. It's like round 4, I haven't ate food in a hot second, so I just like scoop it up, give him the win, wish him good luck, go eat food. Round 5, I hit Zard against Jacq. Game 1, he's playing towards Zard, so like Bib and Pidge and all that stuff. Game 1, I have a pretty great lead, and he kind of just bricks, doesn't really get anything set up, and I'm like able to keep him off Pidgeot, I'm able to keep her off a barrel, and I'm just like, at one turn, I think like 2 turns in a row, he actually heat tackled for 30. So he scoops there, we go to game 2. Game 2 was super just like blowout. Like, he was able to evolve Bidoof into a barrel, Pidge into Pidgeot, had Rotom, had 4 Sealstone, was instant charging, and had like 2 Charizards, and I was like, yeah, I got like a Minccino, a Snorlax, like 1 Chops, and a Lugia. I'm like, yep, so I scoop that up, go to game 3, so we have time for it, because like, at this point, sure, I can drag the game out, but we have like 40 minutes on the clock, right? I'm not going to be able to drag it out that long, and I'm not going to do that, so scoop that up, go to game 3. Game 3 is pretty back and forth, and I don't offer a gentleman's agreement because we have like 30-ish minutes left, 35 minutes left. But game 3 goes super long. It's like 25 minutes of game 3. Very back and forth. But I get to a point where I have like 4 prize cards left. I boss up Rotom, or I have 6 prize cards, boss up Rotom, and then I Primal Turbo, put a bunch of energies onto 2 of my Cincinos, so both of them have energies onto it. And he's got like 2 or 3 cards in hand. He doesn't have a Pidgeot, or doesn't have Pidgeot, but he has Barrel set up. And then I take the KO on the Rotom. He puts up Zard, punches into the Lugia. I retreat out of the Lugia into the Cinccino, smack it. He puts up another Charizard, KOs that Charizard, or KOs on my Cinccino. I put up the other Cinccino, attach, smack it. But it took a long time for us to get to that point because there was a lot of just like setup on both sides. So we ended up taking about 15 to 20 minutes just to finish that game. So I get the win there. And then round 6, I'm playing against another Charizard. I'm playing against Charizard again. Game 1, I brick super hard. It's like Minccino, Lugia, and like 5 energies. And I like read the wind, discard an energy, draw into 3 energies. And I'm like, okay, I can live like a turn if my top deck's good. So he takes like a pretty long-ish turn. It was like a 2-minute turn, involves a bunch of stuff. And I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm like, okay, I need this top deck to be like insane, right? So I draw for turn and it's like an energy. I'm just like, yep, scoop it up, go to game 2. I go first and I get a crazy good start. He gets also a pretty good start as well. But I keep him off Pidgeot. He benches benches a Pidge and a Bidoof. And I go out of my way to boss up the Pidge, take a single prize KO on the Pidge. He counter catches up a Chops, KOs the Chops. I put the Lugia back up, boss up the Bidoof, KO the Bidoof. So he just has like a lone Zard EX. And I have like 2 Mincinos that are ready that have like 2 energies on both of those. So he bosses up one of them, punches it. I draw for turn, evolve, turbo, put 2 on, attach for turn, smack, and then win. And then game 3, we got about 20-ish minutes left, so I don't offer a gentleman's agreement, so we can definitely finish game 3 in that time period. So we do that there, and just kind of go back and forth. I get a pretty sloppy start. I end up having to Summoning Star for a Cinccino and for an Archeops, just like I did round 2 against Ancient Box. So I Summoning Star for a Cinccino and an Archeops. Primal Turbo, because I know he's going to try to KO it, but at this point, I go, okay, I'm not going to take the KO on this Mander in the active because I don't want to be counter-catchered, right? So he draws for turn and just goes Evolve for Bib, Bib for 2, pass. And I go, perfect. Draw for turn, like Primal Turbo, put a bunch of energies onto a Minccino, attach to the other Minccino, evolve both Mincinos into Cincinos, and then I punch KO with the Lugia, and he goes, yup. Draw, and then like just gets into Arven and is able to like Nest Ball for Rotom, and then for Seal Stone, and then evolves into like, you know, into a Pidge and then into a Zard. And I was like, yeah, he's just got all the pieces. So I was able to do that, bosses up my Archeops, KOs the Archeops, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna scoop this game, mostly because I'm in like a win out situation to make day 2, but I can actually pull this off. He's only taken 1 prize card. I've only taken 1 prize card. But both of my Cincinos have a lot of energy on them already. So as long as I manage my resources, I'm pretty okay. So what I end up doing is I draw for turn. I jet up my Cinccino, boss up Pidgeot, KO the Pidgeot, keep him off Pidgeot. Take 2, he draws, KOs the Cinccino. I go, yep. I put up my other Cinccino. I smack it, take 2 prize cards. And then he goes, okay, draw for turn, counter catcher up. I believe it was my other Minccino that had a gift energy on it, because I had like 3 Mincinos, 1 had a gift energy, and it was just kind of like lone chilling there. So he bosses that up, and then just goes, all right, pass turn, and I draw for turn, hit research, or no, sorry, he takes the KO on the Minccino, because at this point, I believe he has to, because it was a Cinccino that had 2 energies onto it, and he already had 190 damage on the Charizard. So if he doesn't take the KO on this, I can just punch him for 140 and win. So he takes the KO on this Cinccino, trigger gift energy, draw. I promote my Snorlax. I draw all the cards, promote Snorlax. I already has a DTE attached an energy, like jet energy or whatever. Boss up a barrel. Take the KO, win the game. So that was crazy. And then round 7, I play against Oscar. Game 1, I get absolutely cooked. Just super bad hand. He had the absolute great hand, so I scooped that pretty quick. And then game 2 goes super long. He gets like 2. He's not playing Bibzard or anything, or like Tordzard. He's just playing Pidgeot. There's no barrel in the deck. And he gets set up, gets like 2 Pidgeots set up, gets like 2 Charizards, has Rotom, is able to like instant charge early in the game for a Seal Stone and stuff, and then like he was able to like Turo pick up the Rotom, and I'm just like, yeah. So I'm like trying really hard to like navigate around this stuff. I'm like taking KOs with Cincinos on Charizards, and he's like counter KOing things, and I get to a point where I don't have any Cincinos left, and he has 2 energies attached to his he KOs the Lugia, and I have like 1 Cinccino left, and it doesn't have any energies onto it. And I go, yep, I only have like 1 Archeops left, so I Primal Turbo 2 attach, hit for like 210, and he just goes like Blustering Wind KO. I'm like, yeah, it feels kind of bad. So scoop that up. Go to game 3. We asked the judge how much time we have left. We have about 10-ish minutes left. We kind of agreed to like a gentleman's agreement, and we agreed to like who's up on prize cards, and I have a pretty okay start. I have like Lugia VSTAR on the active. I take a KO. Or I punch into a Zard EX, I believe, because he ended up going first and was able to evolve quickly into that. Punches into Lugia for 180. I evolve, punch back, and then he punches again, comes back to me, and then I take a KO on the Charizard, and then it's at this point time was called, and he's turn 3. So it was like I punch, and it was turn 2, and then I take the KO on the Charizard for that was turn 2. Goes back to him, it's turn 3, and he just goes Quick Search, attach energy, has boss in hand, boss is up like whatever, Cinccino takes the KO, and is up on prize cards. So I have like 4 prize cards left, he has 3, and I was like, yep, you got it. So I signed the slip, and he was like, thank you for uploading the gentleman's agreement. I said, absolutely, I would never do that. And at the bottom of the Twitter post here, I said, I dropped to go enjoy the city of Indianapolis. Felt great to still be in the running for day 2. That long at my first regional feels so awesome. So once again, big shout out to all my opponents. You guys were all great to play against. Everyone was super just delightful, and everyone was super nice and just kind of happy to be there, and it felt really great. So now let's jump into some pictures that I've taken of Indianapolis and the deck list, and we'll go over all that. So let's jump right into it. Alrighty, here we are at the deck list that I had played for the Indianapolis Regionals. I did play Lugia VSTAR, as I had said. However, I just wanted to kind of go over the deck list and why certain cards are in there and why I picked certain things over others and what I changed before the tournament. So I had a 4-3 line of Minccino and Cinccino, which was pretty much in almost every list. 4 Archeops, of course, as always. And then I had 3 Lugia V and 3 Lugia VSTAR. Originally, I had 4 Lugia V in the deck, but I ended up cutting a Lugia for a Lost Vacuum. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to have a better time into things that were playing like Hero's Cape. So like Zard was playing Hero's Cape sometimes, and I wanted to have a better time into that. And I at least wanted to have somewhat of a fighting chance into things like Future Hands, so I can remove like heavy batons or stuff. Or I can do like really cool plays where I can like remove my own Collapse Stadium if I have to, and then being able to like bench Lumineon later on. So like Collapse, remove Temple of Sinnoh, and then Lost Vacuum my Collapse, bench Lumineon, find boss, or find whatever I need. Be able to do cool plays like that. So then I also played 1 Lumineon and 1 Snorlax. I played 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Capturing Aroma, 3 Great Ball, 3 Boss, 3 Research, 2 Iono, 1 Collapse, 1 Vacuum, 1 Master Ball, 1 Jacq, and 1 Serena. I would not change anything about the lineup for Pokemon that I had played. The only thing I would change maybe about the supporters that I had played is I might go down to 2 Boss and to 4 Research, just to have a little bit more of like a draw engine. It feels like a lot of the times if your gift energy doesn't get to pop and you don't get to draw up to 7, you're kind of just sitting there with like a 2-card hand and it feels really bad. But that's probably the only thing I would change. The Lost Vacuum felt great just as like a one-of thing. And even if, you know, you're not playing against like Future Hands or a deck that actually is relevant in being able to remove like Hero's Cape so you can take a big KO on a Zard, because 430 HP for a Zard is quite a bit. You can still do other neat things. Like there was one play where I played my Collapse, Lost Vacuum, I collapsed to thin 2 cards in my hand because my gift energy was going to pop guaranteed next turn. So then I was going to be able to draw 2 extra cards off of that, which felt great. So you can do cool things like that with the card. And then for the energy split here, I had 4 Double Turbo, 4 Gift, 4 Jet, 3 Mist, 1 Therapeutic, and 1 Vigor Energy. Now, I like 17 energy in my Lugia list. I like it a lot. It allows you to get a little more reckless with your energies if you have to, and it allows you to actually be able to like retreat if ever need be, which I had to do quite a bit of times because I got put in some pretty awkward spots. But if I were to change anything about the energy split, I would still keep 17, but I would cut a Double Turbo or probably a Mist for a second V-Guard. So either cut a Double Turbo or cut a Mist energy for a second V-Guard energy, because there were so many times where I wish I would have had a second V-Guard, especially against the Lost Tina decks that I played against, and 2 V-Guard just feels pretty nice, especially if you end up playing into like the mirror match as well. Can be pretty helpful as well. So that's the only thing I would change about the deck. I still feel pretty confident in the list that I had played. Going 3-3-1, I feel pretty confident in just my abilities as a player. I had a lot of people like Nick De La Torre and a couple other players that I had talked with after the tournament that told me I should be very proud of my finish. 3-3-1 as your first regional is incredible, and a lot of people end up going like 0-3 or 1-4 or whatever. So and I do feel great. I had tons of fun. It was a blast. I had a possibility and a chance up until round 7 to make day 2. So, and even my round 7 opponent had made a comment where if we had more time, I would have won the game, which is true. They had not a great setup in game 3, and I had a great setup, but they were just head on prize cards, and that was the gentleman's agreement that we had. So I basically was up to day 2 contention up until round 7, and if we had just a little bit more time on the clock, it'd have been a little different. But I feel great about the list. I'm really glad I played Lugia. I definitely felt very confident with the deck as well. And then my girlfriend Palace had taken some pictures of me playing during round 3. So there's a picture of me here just kind of hanging out, and I believe I was shuffling my deck or attaching an energy here. So we got a picture of me doing that. A little bit more of a closer up picture of me, just kind of like flicking through the cards and just snapping in my hand as I always do. And then another one of me actually playing Lumineon. I remember this too because I look up and realize that they're taking pictures of me, and then I look back down and I go Lumineon, Luminous Sign, Boss for Game, and that's where I was picking up my deck and like leaned over to put it back down, and I thought that was a pretty cool picture there. And then a far out picture of me playing, just very focused, looking down at the table and just really zoned in. I was really proud of myself. I thought maybe all the noise and stuff around me was going to be really difficult to try to be able to focus and play. But I was able to kind of really dial in and really focus and play. A lot of my opponents were very understanding of like, I love to talk and goof around and laugh anytime but when I'm playing. When I'm playing, I want to focus and dial in, and that's just what it is. And a lot of my opponents were very understanding about that, so that was really nice. Then a picture of a Blake and I believe this was after round 2 or 3. His wife and my girlfriend had come and visited us after one of our rounds and took a picture of us just kind of hanging out, waiting for our pairings to show up, going in, I think, round 3 or 4, I believe is what it was. So, and then another great moment that ended up happening was I got to meet one of my big role models, Andrew Mahone, aka Tricky Jim. It was actually incredible being able to just like talk with him and just being able to take a picture. It felt really great, especially because he's one of the people I look up to the most in the Pokemon community, not only as a competitive Pokemon player, but as a content creator as well. Tricky Jim is one of the biggest Pokemon YouTube channels out there, and I think it's great, all the things that he does for the community and the energy that he brings as a player and as a content creator, and it was really great to just tell him that I really appreciate all the things that he's done and being able to inspire me to make content and always just kind of show that there is a lot to this game. He always says that Pokemon is not always about playing the card game, it's about the people and the friends you make along the way, and he's absolutely right, and it's really kind of opened me up and really made me feel very welcome in the Pokemon community. So I'm very grateful that I got to meet Andrew Mahone and just take a picture with him and talk with him, even though he was completely gassed after round 9, playing Chen Pao. I believe he went like 8-1 in day 1 or something like that, and then made top 8, so that was really cool as well. Then a picture of Palace with the Mewtwo banner. We thought it was really cool and funny that she was like the perfect height directly underneath the Mewtwo, like casting Shadow Ball. So we thought like, oh, Mewtwo's gonna like cast Shadow Ball and hit you with it. It was just kind of funny that she was like the perfect height for that. And then me wearing a fanny pack for the first time. Palace wanted the Danny Fantup pack, fanny pack. It came with packs inside, so we ended up opening the packs, and then I ended up kind of just wearing the fanny pack around for the evening. My first time ever wearing a fanny pack, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but it did grow on me over time. We just thought it was kind of a goofy picture because I'm making a little bit of a goofy goofball face. And then there's a picture of us at Fogo de Chao. We went to Fogo de Chao Friday night. After we got like checked into the B&B, and after we had like, you know, gone and checked in at the regionals and stuff and got all that stuff done. So we had like our wristbands and stuff. You can see, you know, my wristband here and Blake's over there. If you've never been to Fogo de Chao, it's like a Brazilian steakhouse. They walk around with giant skewers of meat, like top sirloin, bottom sirloin, filet mignon, different kinds of chicken, bacon wrapped stuff, all different kinds of things. They even have like honey, like cheese covered in honey, which is really good as well. And then you like cut it off and you take your tongs and you put it on your plate. if you've never been, I definitely recommend. It's tons of fun and the food is delicious. So we got to go and eat there for dinner. And then we ended up going, this is Sunday afternoon, right before we had to get ready to leave. We all got smoothies and we thought it would be fun just kind of like put all of our smoothies together and take a picture of all of our smoothie cups before we left Indianapolis. Kind of like the last thing we did together in Indy before leaving. We also visited the monument in downtown Indianapolis. They have this big monument here. It looks like this. This is the group photo we had taken. But around this monument here, they have a bunch of like pots with plants and flowers and stuff in them. And a duck was just like nesting in the plants. Like it was just hanging out in there. And I had turned around and I jumped and I was like, oh my God, that's a duck. And I was like, that's the most realistic fake duck I've ever seen in my life. And I kind of like look a little closer and then he like blinks. And then I can see him breathing. And I was like, that's a real duck. That's actually insane. So it was really crazy to just see a duck just like randomly nesting in these like flower pots basically in downtown Indianapolis. So we thought it was pretty cool, so we took a picture of that. And then the group photo in front of the big monument. If you've never seen the monument, it's really beautiful. Unfortunately, we did not get to walk up or go into the monument. It said it was open on Sunday, but we go up to the door. It said it was like open at 10:30. We walk up and it was closed and we didn't get to walk in, unfortunately. So we just kind of like walked around and took pictures. There's a bunch of like shops around the monument as well, like that boba tea shop where we got our smoothies, and there's like a candy store and a chocolate store and all kinds of different stuff. So pretty cool to have all these different shops around that you can go and look at. But it was really cool to see the monument. Picture of Blake and I just kind of hanging out, having a different conversation. And then I turn around and I realize they're taking a picture of us, and I just start chuckling and laughing because I've taken a picture of us having an entirely different conversation. I believe we're talking about like Pokemon, and he's telling me Dialga's good, and I'm like, oh man, it's ridiculous. Andrew Hedrick's hitting 10 pounds. It's fine. It's whatever. And then he wins the whole tournament, and then, you know, Dialga's real. So there's that. Picture of Palace and I in front of the monument. It was really great to just be able to just be there with my girlfriend and just really have her there support me on my first regional. And she had a blast being able to walk around and look at all the different shops and look at all the cute stuffed animals at the just convention or at the tournament. Was really awesome as well. Second picture of us, a close-up picture of us at the monument as well. If you, like I said, a little bit closer, you can see like kind of cannons on this top shelf here. They got cannons up here, I believe, and just like all these different, you know, they got soldiers like down here and stuff. It's really beautiful to see. If you've never seen it, definitely, if you're ever in Indianapolis, just go out of your way and just go downtown and just look at it. It's beautiful, and it's so cool to read like all the like pedestals and stuff they have around it. It was really awesome. So that's all the pictures I have taken, I believe. Oh, nope, sorry, I got some more pictures here. This is Palestine on the drive back from Indianapolis. We all also actually got matching Demon Slayer shirts. I forgot to point this out. We all got matching Demon Slayer shirts because we all love the show Demon Slayer. If you've never watched it, absolutely should. It's a great show. Season 4 is coming out very soon. But yeah, so picture of a Palestine in the back of the car driving back from Indianapolis to Pennsylvania, finishing up our smoothies like right after we were leaving the city. Was a great time. We just having a great time. We're really enjoying it and just kind of taking the last couple photos together. So now let's jump into that outro. I can show you guys some of the stuff that I ended up picking up at the regionals and just kind of closing out this video here. So let's jump right in to that outro. Alrighty. So some of the things that I had picked up while I was there is, of course, everyone got their play stamp, you know, regional promo. So it was Explorer's Guidance with a cool regional stamp. This was really cool to get, just being someone who's never been to a regional before, never waited in line to get their swag bag or anything. It was really cool to get this Explorer's Guidance. And then, of course, they give you this playmat that you get to pick up as well. There was 3 different ones. They had this Koraidon mat, and then they had an Iron Valiant one and an Iron Leaves one, I believe. But I wanted the Koraidon one because I think Koraidon looks really cool. So ended up getting that cool playmat, and then Palace and I ended up picking up matching as close as we could stuffies. So we got a Dino and then a Zwelos. I was hoping they had Hydreigon because I like Hydreigon more than Zwelos, but Zwelos still looks really cool. So we got matching like stuffed animals, which I thought was really cute. So we have those as well. So it's gonna be hanging on my desk or maybe behind me on the shelves or something back there. So we'll have to see. But I want to hear about your guys' tournament runs and stuff. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys went to Indianapolis. And if you did, what deck did you play? What was your placement? You know, I played Lugia VSTAR, I went 3-3-1, so I want to hear everyone else's tournament runs, if they ended up going, or if you didn't go to Indianapolis, what would you have played had you gone and competed at the regional? If you guys are enjoying the content I've been making so far on the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!